So I'm Rachel Van Cleve, the Public Information Officer for the City of South Jordan, Utah. So first, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming out, but we're going to start with this is all relating to the incident last night, our SWAT incident. But first I wanted to start off with our mayor, Dawn Ramsey, and she's going to introduce herself, do a little intro statement, and then I'm going to get into some of the details that we need to talk about. So, Mayor.
Thank you all for being here with us. My name is Dawn Ramsey. I'll spell it for you, D-A-W-N-R-A-M-S-E-Y, and I am the mayor of the City of South Jordan. We appreciate you being here. As many of you are aware, we had a SWAT incident in our city last night, and we're grateful that it ended with no harm being done to anyone, and that the suspect was able to be taken into custody without further incident. Following that, we had our officers able to go in and enter the home where the suspect was, and upon finding some concerning material and discovering a volatile situation, we have been working all day trying to help make sure that we can take care of that as properly and safely as possible. Our number one concern is safety for the personnel who are on hand and for all the residents of the City of South Jordan. So we have gone around and evacuated the immediate area just to be sure that people are safe as this is being taken care of. I want to reassure the residents of South Jordan that we have the best experts on hand. We have the support of the county, state, and federal level experts to help take care of whatever may need to happen to ensure the safety and protection of everyone involved. We appreciate the support that we have. We appreciate the communication at every level and the outstanding service of our officers and everyone else involved. The work that's being done is critical, and it's heroic. They were absolutely stellar in how they performed last night and in the work being done today. So please let me reassure you that we are doing everything possible to make sure that everyone involved is safe and to mitigate the impact of the materials that have been found in the home, and to make sure that we can carry on with this Pioneer Day safely here in South Jordan. Thank you all for being here, and we'll give more updates on that as it continues to unfold. I'm going to turn the time back over to our PIO, Rachel Van Cleve, who's going to share a few more specific details. But again, let me please reassure everyone, the best people are working on this, and safety is our number one concern, and that is exactly what we're working to make sure happens. Thank you.
And we are going to open it up to questions here at the end. But like I said, my name is Rachel Van Cleve, Public Information Officer for the City of South Jordan, and that's R-A-C-H-A-E-L-V-A-N space capital C-L-E-A-V-E for your records. As the mayor said, there was an explosive substance that was found in the home from the individual in that SWAT incident last night. Really, our main concern with that is we had experts come in, take a look at the substance. They determined they cannot remove it safely from the home. So that means that they will have to detonate the substance to get rid of it safely. So in that effort to protect our residents, we've already begun going door to door evacuating residents, and we're looking at, originally we evacuated about 14 homes. Now the group that we evacuated today was about 168 homes, or about 600 residents in this general area, and I can get you those kind of general, the map behind me has the street boundaries, so I'm happy to get you those numbers for those streets as well. But so first and foremost, our residents are our concern and their safety, and we are doing whatever we can to mitigate any damage that might happen from this detonation. That's really our top priority. When we did our door-to-door notification of residents, they were extremely cooperative. Many of them had been following the news reports, so thank you media for reporting that. And they were curious and prepared, and many of them were, yes, I wanna leave my home. So we've asked residents in those areas to leave their homes until about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That time may change, but we'll make sure to update them. We've also done a reverse 911 notification, which should hit a cross-section of those residents for anybody who wasn't home at the time that our door-to-door people went. So they should hear about it through there. And then we're also going to be issuing a press release and doing some social media posts to just make sure we have informed all of those residents so they can be out of their home for safety purposes, so we can make sure that they're safe and they're away from when we detonate the substance. So that's the basic information I have. We can start with questions. Lieutenant Matt Pennington is also here as far as the incident last night, and so go ahead with your questions.
Right, so is this something that is so volatile that it's going to destroy the home, or is this, in the area around it? What kind of chemicals are we talking about in this homemade explosive device that these residents really need to know?
So, great question. We're trying to mitigate any damage that we possibly can, but with any explosion, there's probably going to be something that happens to that home. However, as far as the chemical and the substance itself, we're not talking about that directly just because of the sensitivity of the subject and not exactly information that's great for the public to know for incidences like this. So we just want to make sure everybody knows that this evening and through tomorrow, everybody should stay away from this area too. That was one thing I neglected to mention was, in addition to the people that evacuated, nobody should be coming up to try to see what happens when the stuff gets detonated. That's unsafe, and we want to keep everybody around us safe.
Well, is this something that may level a house? Are we talking about that type of explosion?
It's hard to say at this point. Really, when the experts went in to take a look at the substances, they're making a lot of determinations, and one of the determinations was that it just wasn't safe to remove. As far as the actual damage that could be done, it's hard to say.
Are you getting help from federal government? Obviously, we have a lot of our local police forces here from different surrounding cities, but in this type of situation, are there specific experts at the federal level that can bring in and deal with this in terms of ETF and things like that?
We're working with multiple agencies, some on the federal level, because we just want to have the best experts in any kind of situation like this. When we're looking to protect our residents and protect property as much as we can, we will absolutely pull all the stops and talk to every partner we possibly can to make sure that they're safe.
Are you hearing from residents themselves? I mean, are they scared? What are they going through right now as you're going door to door? Maybe that's another question for the police as well. But when you're actually knocking on their door and you're telling residents what they're having to do, what's their reaction?
That's a really great question. What we heard from the people knocking from door to door was that the residents were like, they said, better safe than sorry. They had been following this incident, and they said, I'm happy to leave my home to make sure that I'm safe and to get out of the area. So our residents have been very cooperative thus far, and we're still trying to make sure as many are notified as possible for the ones that weren't there when we did the door-to-door, which is the most effective way to notify people.
What kind of shelter are you offering for that?
We are just asking people to go with friends and family. We haven't offered any sheltering at this point.
Is there any elderly people that may need help? Senior citizens that are back there?
Potentially, there are people of all ages in the neighborhood, but yeah.
How many homes then until 10 a.m. tomorrow does that affect?
About 168 homes.
And then, is there anything you describe in any more detail why, it's so, why, I guess, removing it, and is it possible? Is it in such large quantities? Is it how it's distributed? Any further understanding about it?
As far as details of the substance, I don't think there's anything else that we can say about that at this point.
Is the Red Cross going to be involved with that in homes? Why aren't you guys offering that shelter?
That's a really good question, and I would love for the Red Cross to get involved, and I'm sure we can have a conversation with them going forward.
Do you have a firm idea on when the detonation might occur?
We don't have the exact time on that, but we'll definitely make sure we get that to you. If it's sometime tonight and we've had the people evacuate from their homes, but we don't have the exact time yet. So just as long as people stay away, that's our key message here. Stay away from, we had people evacuate at 3 p.m. through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's just the safe time to stay away. So that's the message we really want to get across to everybody.
I noticed that part of South Florida Parkway is closed down. How are officers or how is Public Works going to
So we've marked off anywhere that we think that might be impacted, and there are officers, like you noticed, stationed there. So they'll be there through the detonation and everything.
Rachel, can I add something?
Absolutely. Step on in.
I'd just like to say thank you to each of the different jurisdictions that have come and lent their help and their services. We had police departments from West Valley City, Harriman, and Riverton with us last night. We have many agencies here on hand, and we just appreciate the help and support of so many at the local and county and federal level. Really, we do appreciate it. And as was mentioned, well, I'm going to take this off. As was mentioned, we are still in the process of gathering information. The best experts are on this, and some of your questions we don't have the answers to yet. They haven't shared those with us yet. They're still working to determine that. As to the question of providing shelter, that is a really good question. To the best of my knowledge, there was not anyone at this point who indicated there was any help that they might need. If that is to be the case, we will work with people to find shelter for them. But as far as the information I've received, everyone who has been contacted door to door was happy to evacuate, appreciated, has been very cooperative. It's voluntary. They've been very cooperative, and no one had a concern that they didn't have somewhere to go. So for that, we're grateful, and we'll continue to watch that. And should that be the case, then we will work to make sure that we help provide some services for people. And the same with elderly. At this point, that hasn't been brought to our attention that anyone needs help evacuating. Should we become aware of anything like that, we will do everything we can, and we'll make sure that that help is provided. Because as I said, safety is it's our number one concern for everyone, and we're not forcing people out. It's voluntary, but our residents have been fantastic, and so we really appreciate that. But we do appreciate the support and the help from all the other jurisdictions, as this is really a unique thing. This isn't something that we deal with, not just every day, but ever. You know, it's very unique. And since there are so many unknowns, better safe than sorry. A larger evacuation perimeter just helps lend peace of mind that regardless of what we could be dealing with, people far and wide will be safe. So thank you.
Madam Mayor, talk to us from the heart, because you did say this is a very volatile situation. Just what's the sense of feeling right now coming from you?
My biggest concern truly is the safety of everyone involved. We have people who know far better than I do how to deal with this kind. I don't have any personal experience with this kind of thing, but I appreciate so much people who do. Volatile situation is what it's being called, and the details about the different substances aren't being shared even at my level. Those details are being kept because they're still making determinations about the best way to promote safety and make sure that that's the case. My plea would be to anyone in the area, if you've been asked to evacuate, please do. Just give yourself that peace of mind and help us have that peace of mind. And we appreciate the patience. I realize that this is a busy travel day, it's a family day, it's a busy traffic day, because a lot of people have the day off and it's a holiday. And having such a busy area of the city closed off is not convenient. I totally understand that. Please know we appreciate your patience with our officers as you're rerouted. It's temporary, but it really is to be safe. That matters the most to us. Public safety is the number one responsibility of local government, and we take it seriously. And again, I have to commend the outstanding officers of the South Jordan Police Department, our fire and all of our emergency personnel, and all of the other jurisdictions who are lending a hand on this. We just are truly grateful and fully plan on the best outcome possible with a very unique situation.
Can somebody articulate, just if they're not processing the map or if they haven't been told to evacuate, just what the boundaries are of that closure from where to where?
Of course. We'd like to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you do it by the microphone so we can hear you?
Yes. So the cross streets are kind of the general boundary. Is you have 32nd west to Bangor. Those are kind of east-west boundaries. And then 102nd south to 104th south. That is the general area that we evacuated. And that did include also 34 licensed businesses. I didn't mention that as well. So many of those have closed at this point.
Maybe just So, had this guy ever threatened the use of explosives, or was this a surprise when law enforcement went in and found that, whatever that is?
The explosives were a surprise to us. Like I mentioned earlier this morning, we had started this investigation last Saturday and went through the week. We knew he had weapons, which is why we served the warrant last night, but we did not have any intel or information that he had these types of explosives involved.
Lieutenant, since he's been detained for right now, has he come out and talked yet? Has he said what his intentions were with this homemade explosive device, or is there any more information that you can provide since last night on this suspect?
So I know we've conducted some follow-up interviews with him regarding these substances. The partnering agencies that are here, like she mentioned, at all levels, from local to federal, are involved in that, trying to determine that very thing. We don't have a definitive outcome at this point. There's still some more investigation to be done and some more people to track down to really figure out what his intent is.
So this might not be a lone wolf situation.
We don't know. Yeah, that's the question is, was he involved with other people? Has he been communicating? We seized a bunch of different things outside of what our initial warrant is. We've written some additional things to collect information. That's going to take some follow-up investigation and processing to get into all of that.
Do you know if there was any type of evidence on computers as to, or anything on social media as to an attempt or an attack with these explosive devices?
So the computers is part of what I'm talking about. That's going to take some time. That, unfortunately, not like TV, doesn't happen overnight. So we're going to have to dig into those. As far as social media goes, we were involved with his social media platforms through the week. That was part of our investigation, which led up to the warrant. Yep.
I'm guessing this is Mr. Mendenhall over here. All right, Mr. Mendenhall, can we ask you about air quality when it comes to detonating this type of a device?
I don't know what air quality issues would arise from this. I do know that it's.
Would you mind?
I think I'm just helping out on just that basis.
That is something that we are taking very seriously and making sure we're mindful of and aware of before anything.
Any air quality would be very short. This is just a potentially explosive situation. So any air quality issues would be minimal and would disperse very quickly. It's not an extensive human health risk.
All right. Any other follow-up questions?
We haven't taken any additional suspects into custody at this point. There is some additional people that we're questioning in regards to the explosives. That was really, like I said, this was new to us as of last night when we found this information out, so that wasn't part of our initial investigation. So there is some additional follow-up and people we want to talk to, but no additional suspects identified at this time. Yeah, he lived at the home alone, yep. Anything else? Rachel?
As far as follow-up, we will be sure, just follow our Twitter account, our South Jordan Public Safety Twitter account, and we'll make sure to let you know when we have anything else. Hopefully this will be, once this detonation occurs, people will be able to go back into their homes soon. Tomorrow is the hope there. So we'll make sure to update you as early as tonight, but maybe tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for that.
The plan is to detonate tonight, but not until tomorrow morning.
Right, we want to make sure everything's taken care of, investigated, and safe. All right, thank you. That's it for today.
Thank you all for being here to help us.